this is Dr. Evan Osar with the Institute for, wow, that's so wrong, Integrative Movement Institute. So this is Dr. Evan Osar with the Integrative Movement Institute. Happy Tuesday, hope your week has started out well. I've got 3 things for you very quickly before we start, because we've got a webinar coming up here in 30 minutes. Thank you for joining us. Truly appreciate you guys being part of our community and allowing us to share this information with you, to empower you, to educate you, and help you attract more of those individuals that need, want, and will pay you for your expertise. So first thing, number 1, this week on Two Anatomy Geeks, we're starting our brand new 3-part series on the elbow, wrist, and hand. If you've been following us, we started out with the head and neck, then we moved on and just finished up the rotator cuff 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, and now we're moving down to the elbow, wrist, and hand. And many of the issues you'll see with your clients, especially your clients that like to play golf and tennis, the tennis elbow, the golfer's elbow, and those related issues, because now the weather's warming up, the time is about to change this coming weekend, and we'll have more daylight, and it's getting a little bit warmer here, even here in the Midwest. So spring is on its way, and lots of our clients are going to be playing sports and being more active, riding their bikes and things like that. So I want to share with you just really quick here, and then we have a brand new promo webinar on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central. Free, no obligation for you to sign up for it. Hopefully you'll sign up for it. Mary will put the link in this or next to this video later on today. So one of the things you want to look at when you see your clients, when they present with elbow issues, obviously if they have pain, you don't want to rub on them, work on them, things like that, unless that's within your scope of practice. Once they've gone to their medical doctor or healthcare professional and been diagnosed with whatever they got going on, either golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, well, I should say golfer's elbow is usually here, tennis elbow is here, but it's pain around their elbow, either the lateral side here or the medial side here. So the medial side, remember your anatomy, and if you don't know your anatomy, we're going to teach you the anatomy, but we're going to make it very, very simple. So your flexor muscles, they attach to this bone right here, the medial epicondyle of your humerus. They run down this direction and they control flexion of your fingers, your wrists, and slightly of your elbow, okay? Your extensors, they come off your lateral epicondyle right here, so you can feel that bone right there. They run off this bone and down the backside of your hand, so you control extension of the wrist and hand and fingers, and slightly maybe assist elbow extension. Now, many of your clients, their elbow issues actually aren't elbow issues. Yes, they become elbow issues, however, they don't start there, they're just manifesting there at the elbow. You can think of the elbow similar to the knee. It's sort of that link between the hip and the ankle and foot. I should say the knee is the link between the ankle and foot. Wait, yeah, no. The knee is the link between the ankle, foot, and the hip. The elbow is a link between the wrist and hand and the shoulder, which is why we started with the shoulder. Actually, we started with the head and neck, then went to the shoulder in our Two Anatomy Geeks series. Because I'll share a quick story with you. I had a client that came in, chronic lateral epicondylitis. That's what he was diagnosed with. And I asked him to, he'd been through physical therapy twice. He went first, got better because he stopped doing the things. I think he was actually a golfer. Yeah, he had lateral epicondylitis. He was a golfer, and he got better because he stopped golfing. Right, he went to physical therapy. But then as soon as he started golfing again and working out, the pain came back. Went back to physical therapy. So I asked him, show me what the physical therapist has you working on. He's like, well, he just has me doing this. I'm like, let me get this straight. Your attachments of your elbow there, on your lateral elbow there, your extensor group, are likely already overstretched and or strained because of what you're doing from a golfing standpoint. So the fix for it is going to be more stretching into that lengthened position. Please explain to me how that's going to help your elbow, and because it wasn't helping his elbow, and he was just as in much pain as he was when it first started. Now, what we looked at on this client was his right shoulder, the side of this pain, was a lot lower, like significantly lower. And he said to me when he came in, because I take a thorough medical history, which you should do as well, I had a football injury and I separated my AC joint, and now his shoulder's kind of hanging down. Do you think that could be related to it? I'm like, that's probably 100% of why you have that lateral elbow pain. Because if your shoulder is not stable, or when your client's shoulder is not stable, where does that stress go? it either goes up into your neck or it goes down to the next available joint. And remember that all these muscles, so even though these muscles down here in your elbow do not attach up to your neck directly, when your shoulder is dropped down, your client's shoulder is too low, all these muscles start to go into, not quite spasm, but they become hypertonic because the whole myofascial chain is now stretched, and the whole myofascial chain is actually trying to bring the shoulder back up. Well, now these structures get overactive, so to speak, and now you start to use it or want to use it in a dynamic manner, and they don't want to lengthen eccentrically like they should. So again, maybe this exercise, that the stretch that the PT gave him was appropriate at some point in his rehab, but it wasn't changing what he was feeling, and it wasn't changing how those muscles were reacting. Okay, so what we did with him is, I had to do a little bit of work on his elbow. I'll share with you some of the strategies I did with him that you can sort of replicate, again, within the scope of your practice with your clients. I'll share that with you on this webinar. However, the bulk of our session and our time together with this patient was spent on teaching him how to get his shoulder back to where it belonged, teaching him how to control his head and neck and his rib cage so that his shoulder was sitting on a better platform, and that reduced a lot of stress in his elbow, and then he was able to get back to his working out and had very little to no elbow pain at that point. And that's the importance of understanding anatomy and the functional anatomy and the link between different areas of the body. My cat, she agrees. She's like, right on, dude. Actually, she's saying, feed me, stop talking, and feed me. She always does this when I go live. She's like, come on, come feed me. Anyway, so that's number one. Don't chase pain. If you're a therapist, don't chase pain. If you are a fitness professional, don't chase your client's pain and tightness. Look to find why the client, where the pain may be coming from. I should say what's being overloaded, so in causing that pain, in this case was a shoulder, and don't chase the pain and tightness that your client has. Be the sleuth, the detective that your client needs to find and discover the underlying issues that's driving the issue. Because even some chiropractors, physical therapists, and medical doctors aren't looking for that. I should say many of them aren't looking for that. So that's how, an easy way, you can differentiate yourself. Number two, we have another free webinar coming up here in just 20 minutes. We've got almost 1,000 people, like literally 1,000 people, like 930 people signed up for this webinar, the 9 best corrective and functional exercises for hip osteoarthritis. Hip osteoarthritis, I should say osteoarthritis in general, is the #1 cause of disability in the world. Not just in our country, but in the world, right? And hip osteoarthritis is one of the most common causes, hip and knee. So Janice is out of town, so we're going to tag team this from 2 different parts of the country. I'm back here in Wisconsin, she's in another part of the country, and we're going to share strategies to help you address hip osteoarthritis, because there's so much you can do as a health and fitness professional to help your clients with chronic hip issues. We're going to share that with you, and Mary will put the link for that as well. So all the lines are filled up for this webinar because I think it's only a max of 500 people on at a time. However, we'll send you the recording. However, you have to sign up. Mary will put the link for that webinar. Hope to see you there on the recording. And then lastly, tip of the week. Last week, we had our bi-weekly call with our Integrative Movement Specialists, ambassadors. So these are the people that have come through our year-long certification program, and now they're doing ongoing coaching with us. So we strategize around client issues, how to talk to clients, how to communicate with clients, how to communicate with other healthcare professionals, and also we've been discussing pricing yourself. Now, we're in a very interesting time, right? There's a lot of gyms closing, a lot of fitness professionals that aren't doing that work anymore. And now we're starting to open up a little bit here and in different places. And obviously your business, I would imagine your business has also been impacted like our business has. However, you've heard me say this in the past, if you follow us, this is actually the best time to be a fitness professional. And I'll stress that word, professional, because the one thing that happens during these sort of times of transition, and we're in a huge time of transition, and we're not through it, there's a lot more transition that's going to be happening here in the near future. One of the biggest things that comes out of transition is it sort of shakes, it's like a tree, like a tree in the early fall when the leaves are starting to dry up and the dead leaves already fall off, but the trees that are still, I should say the leaves that are still hanging on, they're hanging on. Well, this is a great time to kind of shake away all those people that are just kind of hanging on. Not the real professionals like you and I that are committed to educating ourselves, educating our clients, empowering ourselves, empowering our clients, and enrolling the right people into our programs and into our community to serve them. This is the best time to be a fitness professional because there's so many clients that need what you have to offer, that are struggling with sarcopenia and osteoporosis and all these other health conditions related to being in quarantine. And it's also, like I said, one of the best times to differentiate yourself from all the other nonsense that's out there, because as you know, you're in this industry, you understand what's going on. There's a lot of nonsense out there in Instagram and Facebook and all these other sites of people just doing fitness and doing nonsensical things that aren't appropriate for the clients that you and I primarily serve. Our older clients, our baby boomers, our seniors, the pre and post rehab clients, the medical fitness clients, the clients that need your expertise. So one of the things we stress, and Janice had a great point, is think about your doctor, your medical doctor, your own personal medical doctor, your personal chiropractor, or your physical therapist, or your lawyer, your accountant. Now let me ask you a question. Do they discount their fees? Maybe they do, but likely they don't. They don't discount their fees. Other professionals discount their fees, and you'll see these chiropractors, and not so much physical therapists, but even not medical doctors either, maybe some lawyers, but most of the time, the true professionals never discount their services. This doesn't mean you don't do volunteer work. This doesn't mean that you don't give someone a break if they're in a hardship. Absolutely, you can do that. But don't have your clients badger you into discounting your fees. You are a professional. You spent a lot of time, energy, and money making yourself into that specialist, sacrificing your time away from your family, your friends, and your work to get better continuing education, to up-level your skill set. So do not discount your services ever unless there's a very specific reason to do so. And a client badgering you is not the reason to discount your services. So I say that with all due respect and love, because I spent many years discounting my services. And that will never happen again. I'd rather have you give a session away for free or volunteer for a good cause, a cause that you believe in. But don't discount your services, because that's what you're saying to your client and to yourself. You're saying, I'm not worth XYZ amount of money. I'm worth what this client will pay for me. Do not do that, because that client will never respect you to the level that you need to be respected, and they will also not refer you other clients that you should be serving and that respect you. The more you respect yourself, the more you charge what you're worth and what's appropriate for your area as well, because that's a big part of it as well. But respect yourself, respect your fees, respect who you are and what you have to offer to your clients. So thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to share this message. And if you take it to heart, I don't promise you, I highly, I trust that you will be successful, and you will be able to not only survive this time, but you will thrive. So thank you. This is Dr. Evan Osar. I'm going to put the links next to the video. I should say Mary will do that later on today. And we look forward to seeing you either on the free webinar on Thursday for the 2 Anatomy Geeks, and then the new series starts this Saturday, the next 2 Saturdays. Or the recording. We'll see you on the Functional Aging Institute webinar recording, the 9 best corrective and functional exercises for the hip. And make it a great day. We'll see you next time. This is Dr. Evan Osar with the Integrative Movement Institute. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.